Welcome back to another episode of Midterm Monday. And actually, today I just switched over my microphones. I probably sound a lot better than I did the last 12 seconds. I'm going to be this is going to turn into a podcast. So I'm doing Midterm Monday. For those of you that are new here, checking this out for the first time, every single Monday of every single Monday of every single Monday of the month, I show up on here with my buddy Dunn De La Cruz, who is part of the AirVenture Academy, where I help people build their businesses. But every Monday, I go live on here to talk about midterm rentals. I talk specifically about midterm rentals here, and today this episode is going to actually turn into one of my podcasts because this is a subject that I am very much familiar with, which I'm going to talk to you guys about today. What's up, Shannon? I like having feedback and connecting with people on this midterm Monday because it's interactive. But today I'm going to be talking about burnout, which is something that many of you may experience or have experienced in your life. In fact, I have been dealing with burnout for the last probably since February. Actually, I'm lying. It was probably April this year is when it finally hit me. Basically, long story short, I'm going to keep this as simple as possible and then walk you guys through what this episode is going to be about. For the last 5 years, 2020, I left my W 2 job. You guys all know I started investing in rentals back in 2015. So I occupied my W 2 job as a business development manager for a healthcare company, which is basically a simple way of saying I was a sales rep that worked for a hospital and for a couple home health agencies and hospice agencies. And I left that W 2 job in 2020, like a lot of other people, and I started to focus on building my actual business, which is like me building my midterm rentals, continuing to create them into a business. And I eventually got into the realm of teaching other people how to do that because once you learn how to do something and you find out it's valuable, you can actually teach other people how to do it. And I didn't choose to do that. I didn't choose to be the face of what I'm doing. It chose me in a lot of ways. With that being said, I have been working extremely hard over the last 5 years from 2020 till now. In fact, I thought that running your own business, you're going to have a lot more time. You're going to be able to do more things, which you can, but you eventually will pick up things on the back end. Which what I mean by that is you'll actually have to learn how to navigate and manage all these things, especially if you have a W 2 job. Wayne, man, that's my middle name. If you guys didn't know, Jesse Wayne. I don't know what my parents were thinking, but I actually think Wayne is such a cool name. So, Wayne, what's up, bro? We both have the same middle name. So, today I'm going to be talking about something that I've experienced again, like I said, firsthand, and that nobody talks about all the time or often, especially in the midterm rental space, and that's burnout. And if you're trying to build something of anything, but you're stuck, you're getting bookings, but you're not consistent. You're watching content, which is why you guys probably are here, but you still feel like you're falling behind. And eventually that grind gets to you mentally, emotionally, and physically. I've been there. So if you're listing your property, working a full-time job, raising kids to make this your exit plan, this session today, which is going to be 20 or 30 minutes, is going to be very much for you because, again, like I mentioned, I've been going through this. I've been through it in my W 2 job, and it's not fun at a W 2 job, but it hits totally different when you're actually working for yourself. So, I'm actually going to explain to you guys what midterm rental burnout looks like. And it comes in a bunch of different types of packages, which is fun to talk about, but it's different for everybody. So, I'll explain to you guys what happened to me, what's happening, what I see happen to other people, and how they can start to shift before they start to get burnt out. Because again, this is such a big piece of the puzzle, and it stops a lot of people from continuing to build. For me, midterm rental burnout was I lost interest in things that I was excited about, almost like a depression, but it wasn't depression. I started to not focus on things that were going to be important because I was just scatterbrained everywhere. I mean, I'm running 4 different businesses right now, doing all these different things, and I was trying to figure out where I what should I should actually focus on. And a lot of times, people that are getting into business, they're kind of like distracted with all these things. They're trying to figure stuff out, and clarity is such an important piece of building a business. And I can't say this enough. That a lot of us sometimes will get sidetracked because we got families and wives and husbands and kids and school and jobs and like everything that life happens to serve you for us. Which again, we haven't even talked about the problems if somebody gets sick in your family or you lose your dad, like I did in 2017, like all these life events that happen that can make things extremely difficult. But for me, burnout started to look like I was just overworking myself. I was constantly thinking about work. I was scrolling my Airbnb account every day, looking at different things, who is clicking on my views, who is clicking on this, comparing prices, like second guessing myself, all those kinds of things. And it compounds over time. And what ends up happening is that A, you're going to give up what you're doing. B, you're going to start to realize, like, oh my God, I'm not good at this, or this is not the thing for me, or why is so and so able to do it and I can't. But today, again, like I said, we're going to break down what you guys can do in that same exact thing. So, you list your unit and you get it booked, and then you relax. This is by far, I don't know who W is in there. I see that name. It says I had W2 burnout. That's why I joined AirVenture. Super awesome. Okay, cool. I love this. Um, this is where I see most people start to experience burnout. I'm going to explain it to you guys real quick, especially in the midterm rental side. I've also seen this on the short term rental side. You get a lean, you get a unit. Doesn't matter if it's a single family, a multifamily, whatever it is. You list your unit, you get it booked, and then you stop doing anything at all. And what I mean by that is like that booking's coming to an end. And how many of you out there that are listening to this right now have a unit that you've had booked before, whether it's an insurance claim, whether it's an Airbnb booking, a Verbo booking, a Furnish Finder booking, whatever it is, and then you're literally doing nothing until that person's getting ready to move out. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, panic sets in. I got to get my place booked. I got to figure stuff out. Curtis, what's up, man? I see you now. I saw that W on there. I didn't know who you were. I can't click on the picture. But then you start to panic sets in, right? And now you're scrolling, like I mentioned earlier, you're scrolling through Airbnb every day, checking your views, comparing prices, second guessing everything that you're doing. And that's a cycle that like happens so much and so often in the midterm rental space. You start watching more content, you start trying to figure out this magic fix, you start adjusting your prices, you get another booking, and then literally that same cycle of like getting booked, having that okay, awesome moment, you got your place booked, and then you do nothing again until that place kind of gets booked all over again. And this is what I call the burnout cycle, specifically for the midterm rental space. You're listing, you're hoping to get your place booked. You panic, you start to panic. Oh my God, I got to start try to figure stuff out. I got to lower my prices. You start to hustle more than you did before. Then you get relief because somebody finally books. It could be a month, it could be 2 months, it could be 3 weeks. It doesn't matter. And then you get back to panic again. It's like this is this cycle that I see with midterm rental entrepreneurs that are like running through the cycle. They hope, they panic, they hustle, that relief comes in, and then it's back to panic again. And those are like the main symptoms that I see so many people in the midterm rental space start to get themselves to go through. And it's like this cycle of this never-ending thing, which we want to get out of that. That's where burnout like lives. That's where it's like hidden in plain sight, especially if you don't do anything about like putting systems and operations together. I'm not going to go into that super detail today, but we're just talking about again the burnout mode. And what like I want to give you guys signs of burnout that I see from people that come into our class, that come into my program. And this is what something that I've seen happen very often. In fact, this has happened to me too. Feeling like you're always on, but never getting any traction. Like you guys, I am not the best sleeper. I've been working on getting sleep. I'll wake up sometimes at 2 a.m. and I would literally get on my phone and start working at 2 a.m. when I'm supposed to be asleep. Like that's freaking wild. Like that shouldn't be normal, right? Like it just shouldn't. This is a big one that got me. Being short with my family, even when I didn't want to be. Like this is something that as people become overwhelmed, they react in certain ways. I am now like being very conscious and aware of me doing these things, which is good. Being aware is awesome. But that's not my personality. It's not normally how I've been. And that's something that I realized that burnout was literally getting to me. It was me and just like being so short and not being able to I wasn't fun to be around because I was just so preoccupied with things and stuff and everything, and my brain wasn't able to have any peace. And I think that is so powerful. We're going to talk about that here in a minute. Um, Thinking, why is this taking so long for me to get one booking? Or why is this so long for me to, get this place booked? I hear that so often from so many students where they're just like, I got to get my place booked. I'm trying to figure this out. And it's that burnout cycle that'll start to happen. So again, we want to stay away from that. But one of the things that I noticed why this happens, there's always a root cause to it. Burnout happens when you are consistently reacting. Most people list a property, they wait to get booked, and that's it. Like they'll literally just wait without having a plan, and your nervous system starts to go in survival mode, like literally the entire time. And I'm not saying like a therapist right now or anything, but I'm really getting in deep into like the way the nervous system reacts and like how things happen. And that's what happened with me with burnout. I started to not feel like I was doing enough. I started to feel like I didn't care about the things that I cared about. Like I loved watching baseball, all of a sudden stopped caring about. So certain things, like my body was just like so stressed out all the time from this cycle. And again, I watch so many people come into this space where they start to do that. So most people just don't understand that midterm rentals are It's literally a compound business. And this is what I mean by that. What you do today, your outreach, your relationships, the building the systems, that pays off 3 to 6 months. So if you're waiting for your calendar to like magically fill itself, you're already too late. And again, there's a lot of people that operate their midterm rental businesses where they list on platforms, and I've heard it before where people call it a lazy landlord. There's a couple people that talk about this all the time where if you are a lifestyle entrepreneur and you're like, you just want to get your place booked, that's cool now. But there's going to come a point where as more people get into the space, if you don't have systems, if you're not doing outreach, you're not building operational relationships, you're not building systems, you're going to be left behind, especially as this market continues to grow. And it's growing like at a super fast pace. So I want you guys to realize this again. Everything you do today in the midterm rental space, it's a compound business. It will add up and stack up over time. So be very conscious of that. So, you know how I talk about going and finding companies in your backyard and using chat gpt to find those companies and find those people and to connect with them. Like everything you're doing now will pay you back in 3 to 6 months. Like you have to have that mentality in it, and you also have to make sure that you're constantly keeping up with it, because the second that you stop that effect of that compounding, that you're the work that you're doing. And I think a lot of times in the midterm rental space or any business in general, the more that you start to work on things, you don't actually see results right away. And this is where people start to lose they start to be like, oh, this is not working, because they're not getting instant gratification of instant results happening quickly. The midterm rental space is exactly that. You have to be able to come into this with the mindset of like, I'm going to do all these things today. I'm going to connect with Brandon and Wayne and Curtis, and these things, these relationships that I'm building might not come back right now, but in 3 to 6 months, if I stay consistent, they will. And that is, as long as you have that in your head and you know that you're putting in work and not necessarily getting results now, it will come later. And I can't tell you guys this enough. In fact, I want to do a challenge one of these days where we do like 5 calls a day for 20 days out of the month. I guarantee you that people that do that on a regular basis will get a contract in the next 30 days. I can almost guarantee it, because it's that level of continuing to do the thing over and over and over again. And it's a powerful place to be. But again, you have to be very thoughtful on this. And the reason why I'm even bringing this up is because early when I first started off, I relied heavily on Airbnb. And a lot of you may be doing this now. Although I did get a contract, I started to stack more properties up and I relied on Airbnb like a lot of many other people do. And it felt good when I got booked, but in between was draining because I was doing that exact same process that I talked to you guys about earlier, where it's like, I'm hoping I'm getting my place booked. Then I panic because it's not getting booked. And then I hustling to try to figure something out. And then I get relief because somebody finally books it. And then I'm back in that panic cycle again. And that kept repeating itself for a long time until I started to put a system together. And that was a powerful moment for me because I realized, oh my gosh, like I'm spinning my wheels, doing all these things, and I'm not staying consistent when I'm booked. And once you get serious about lead generation, about process, about mindset, like especially me, and I'm saying this for you guys, things will change. Like they'll start to seem a lot different. I think a lot of our students that come into my program will see that because they're in this other mindset of, they're working W-2 jobs like I did for many years. And, you have family life and you're trying to figure all these things out, and it's overwhelming and it's uncomfortable and it's not fun. But again, building a business is hard. Like it's not easy. Like I still have a hard time today, even managing my team, putting things together. Like that is hard for me. And I've been doing this for years, you guys. So somebody fresh coming in that doesn't have business vernacular, that doesn't understand business yet, like this is the greatest way. It's an easy, I call it like almost like what is that called when people are like, I'm trying to think of this word right now. It's like a gateway drug. And what I mean by that is like midterm rentals, it's easy to get started, and once you get into that, there's so many other avenues for other businesses. So it's this great way to like get involved in a business if you don't have any business vernacular or have any business ideas. And then it'll open up to all these other things later on. So I love Airbnb. I love midterm rentals. I love when people get into this because it opens up and it's easy to get into. But again, you have to be thinking longer term. Alex just wrote on here, what if you don't have any properties? Super freaking awesome. I have students that are doing $1 million a year. They don't own any properties at all, but they're going out, they're building referrals, they're connecting with other people, they're connecting leads. So think about like a wholesaler, but you're actually like going out and finding these companies and finding the housing for them. So Alex, you got to think about it as a problem solver, as a problem solutionist. You're the person coming in to solve the problems of the companies, or you can solve the problems of the homeowners, which is getting their place booked. Exactly what I'm talking about right now. So there's a lot of ways. Again, as you start to get into this, it's easy to get into. And it's that gateway drug to let you see that bigger, like, oh my God, there's another business that I can create. I can create a co-hosting company. I can create what I just talked about right now, be a lead connector. I could list my own properties. I can arbitrage properties. I can create a property management system. Like there's all these things that'll happen, but you have to start somewhere. And I think again, most people don't realize like how hard it is to build something. It just really is hard. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because it's hard. And I think a lot of times people think it's easy. You know, you watch me talk about a YouTube video and I made $80,500. That took me a decade to get those relationships to do that. A decade, which is freaking wild. I didn't have somebody like I'm here speaking to you guys right now, like telling me how to do stuff. I had to figure it out, which is pretty awesome how we can live this day and age and like learn information and pick things up. So, again, all those things can lead to burnout. Here's where people get stuck. Okay. This is the biggest issue that breakdowns. I'm going to break down the common burnout traps for you guys that operators, most of you guys will fall into. The first one, platform dependency, relying on Airbnb. No outreach to companies, no recruiters, no insurance, no relocation, literally just like listing on a platform and then dropping your price every couple days or even every day till you get an inquiry that comes in. You absolutely do not want to do that. That's a race to the bottom. This is why I think it's so important to not do that. Number 2, panic pricing. I just talked about this a minute ago. You guys, I see this happen every day. In fact, I get so many notes from people literally every single day that are like, "Jess, my property is 3,000. Like, I just brought it down to 2,500. I'm still not getting anybody booked. I probably should go down to 2,300." And I'm like, "How much is your long-term rental rate there?" And they're like, 2,300. So I'm like, "You're gonna put a fully furnished, you're covering all the expenses, utilities, garbage, gas, all that other crap that's in there, and you're gonna rent it for long-term prices? Like, freaking rent me that. I'll sublease that out and make something happen for it." Panic pricing, that happens all the time. That kills your margins. That does not get your calendar filled, and it does, but it gets you booked at a negative. Like you absolutely do not want to do that. And I think this is the biggest piece of that panic pricing issue that I see. Sacrificing long-term gain for short-term like dopamine hit, which is like, oh, I got my place booked now. Like freaking awesome. I can like survive another month. Like that is absolutely not the mindset you want to have coming in. I had that for a long time. You just don't want that. I'm telling you guys, like it's not. So it's not that. One of the other things that I see where people, get stuck is the platform dependency, panic pricing, which we talked about, overworking with no direction, like doing everything, watching videos, listening to podcasts, joining all the freaking Facebook groups, asking a lot of questions, but not focused on action, confusing busyness with business. Like those are two totally different things, you guys. Like absolutely two different things. I know when I first started, I consumed so much information, it was, like, overwhelming. In fact, me consuming so much information actually stopped me from doing the damn thing. Like, I'm not kidding, like, it did. And there's just something about that that can lead to this fatigue, and many of you that are watching this right now are probably like, "Dude, I'm trying to figure this out." You're right, like, I'm actually living through this right now. I lived through it. I still live through that where I have to turn off the Alex Hormozy and the Cody Sanchez, like, I can't listen to that for the entire month because my brain is just like too busy with the next thing instead of like sitting down and actually doing the thing. And there's a difference between busyness and business. And I think sometimes we think, and myself included, that if we're doing stuff in our business, that's like actually helping, but it's not in a lot of ways. So overconsumption of things is super common, especially in people that are high achievers, type A personalities. Like that's very, very common. So overworking with no direction, make sure that you realize that early and you start to adjust your focus. This is another big one. This is my number 4, right? For where people get stuck. So we got platform dependency, pricing, panic pricing, overworking with no direction, number 3, and number 4 is is like a crucial one that took me a few years to understand. No back end systems. So like every guest feels like a new job. You're starting to reinvent the wheel again. You have no standard operating procedures for turnover. Like you're calling a cleaning crew, you're saying, hey, go do this. You're not giving them, specific guidelines of what they need to do. Your guest messaging is like all over the place. You have different messages for every single person. Maintenance, you're not staying up on maintenance. Like I've watched this happen with so many people. And you can't scale a business because you're stuck in the trenches. Like you're the one that's actually doing all this stuff, creating all these things. You're not going to be able to grow anything if you're like constantly always in that space. And I see people that do this all the time. In fact, I did this for like the first 4 years of running my business. Um, it was tough, and that's because I had a W-2 job, I had family, I had kids, I had the whole thing happening at the same time. So now How do we get out of that? How do we avoid burnout? So I'm going to break this down for you guys, okay? Use your booked time wisely. This is like my number one. If you guys take anything away from this call today, anything at all, like anything out of this call, I don't care what it is. This is the thing that I hope that you take. Booked time is build time. That's when you like work on the business, what to actually do. And this is where you start to put guest templates together. Set up your guest templates. Like if somebody asks, where's the, how do I, how far is your place from a hospital? You have that saved in a pre-template. Like you put that in a Google Drive or a Google Sheet or a Drive. Like you start to actually save these templates and you can just point and click. And if you guys use property management software, I think Furnish Finder has this in there now. Airbnb, you can save these things. Like start to actually build templates out so that anytime anybody asks you something, you have that immediate like go to. You don't have to type anything out. You're not having to speak into your phone. It's there. And when you hire teams, they're going to know that because you're going to have it listed under guest experiences or guest communication. Like you have that locked in. So be very, very intentional about that. This is book time, you guys. Keep that in mind. Build a short list of companies to reach out to. Like it doesn't have to be 100. I think people get overwhelmed with the idea of like, oh my God, I got to reach out to all these people. You don't. Start somewhere. Start small. So build a short list of like 5 to 10 companies that you can start reaching out to right now. In fact, you can use ChatGPT and literally ask, hey, I'm in Modesto, California. Can you tell me any big box stores that are being built from the ground up in 2024 and 2025 that I may be able to find a housing solution for these companies? Can you do a 50-mile source in 50 areas and 50 miles from here to do that? Let us start to do some work. Let that happen. Get feedback from past guests. This is another big one, you guys. If you're in the business of short-term rentals, midterm rentals, if you don't get feedback, how are you going to get better? Like you're just not. So you have to be able to get feedback, and that's why people leave reviews. And a lot of times with midterm rentals, sometimes people don't leave reviews, especially on Furnish Finder. Go out of your way to ask, like, what can we have done better in your business? What can I have done better? How can I be better here? Like every time that somebody leaves is the opportunity for you to improve what you're doing. Think about that. It's very powerful, and I find it to be very rewarding in a lot of ways. And also, again, you're getting instant feedback. Like I love that, and it's important for you to help build your business. The other part of this is simplify your setup. Make sure your furnishing has a checklist. Like make sure your cleaning crews have a checklist. Like go in there and actually start to like have a template for every time that somebody checks out, what needs to happen, what it looks like, what your guests are doing, the build the list, all your templates, like start to actually make those. I think they're super, super important and it's valuable as you continue to build your business. My second thing for this is track leads like it's a business, not a host. This is where people screw up a lot. Would you like open a coffee shop and not track your regulars? Like, would you not do that at all? Then why are you doing that with your guests? Like, follow up with every single person who stayed up with you or who stayed with you at your property. Like, ask for their email, send them notes. Hey, I'm curious if you have anybody else coming to this market. Do you guys do other hosting in different markets? And if they do, this is where we get to connect with each other. And if I get a booking that's going to maybe help somebody else, in our market, Brandon or Alex or anybody here right now watching this, dude, I'm going to send you guys a note. And I'm going to say, hey, man, I see that you have a property, or I'll post it in the Facebook group. This is what we do. This is how you start to build the relationships with these companies. Like, that's what it is. It's not like this rocket science thing. Follow up with people you stayed with. That's an easy way to do it. Create a spreadsheet with contacts from relocation companies, insurance agencies, traveling nurses. Start to do that. Like, start to actually track it like a business owner. Because again, at the end of the day, like, that's why we're doing this, right? You know who your regulars are. You've seen people come in before. You start to figure out where they're going. You start to help them, and we can help each other in the same way. DM or email people 2 to 3 times a week. I've talked about this. This is a big, huge one. And if you guys suck at templates, use ChatGPT. Like ChatGPT is the best at writing templates. Literally, that's it. You can just ask, hey, I need help writing a template. I got to send a note to a temporary housing company. I own a midterm rental business and I'm trying to grow it. Like, give me 3 things that I could do. Try that. And if you're like not familiar with how to use it, like it's not that hard, you guys. You gotta get used to using. In fact, if you're not using AI right now, like you're gonna get left behind. I encourage everybody to please do that. But use it to write templates. Like it's not hard. It's not a rocket science thing. My number 3 thing: focus on one thing per week. Like make it simple, you guys. It doesn't have to be complicated. Sorry, I'm having my midday snack, which is a smoothie. It doesn't have to be complicated, you guys. Week 1, build message templates. That's it. Week 2, reach out to 5 recruiters that work for healthcare agencies in your backyard. Week 3, set up automated check-in folder. What's going to be in that check-in folder? Who are you connecting with? What do they need there? What's most important? What's the Wi-Fi setup? Like, what's that booklet look like? Is it digital? Is it not? Is it just a guide? Like, what is that actually like? Week 3, week 4, update listing photos and descriptions. Always be changing your descriptions and listing photos. If things change, update them. Like it's important. And the main thing of this, you guys, is stop hiding from the business owner mindset. You're just a if you're just you're not just here to host. Like I think you guys need to we need to really talk about this. You're a business owner, even if you just have one unit. Even if you have no units, like somebody said earlier, they're like, I don't have any units. Well, if you want to do this, you got to create a business out of it. So you're not just a host, you're a business owner, even if it's just one unit. And I think a lot of times people will, you know, dismiss that idea, dismiss that like, oh my God, I don't have enough yet. I need 5 properties in order to be effective. If you got one property, you're renting already. How many people even have one property they can say they have a rental? Like, not everybody has that. So be extremely thoughtful on that, you guys. It's important to have that, business owner mindset. If you want to just be a host and it's going to be something that you're just doing as a whatever to make some cash, cool. But in years and in time, and maybe even 6 months, you're going to get left behind. You have to start thinking like a business owner, even if it's just one unit. Very, very important. Um, Yeah. Again, like I said, with burnout, this is something that I've been going through, something I've acknowledged. I don't want you guys to have to go through it because it sucks and it's not fun at all. But again, I encourage you guys to do the things that I talked about earlier so that you don't put yourself in that scenario because it comes quickly and it happens over time. And a lot of times we're not paying attention to it. It's just the reality of it. But all the things that I talked about today, please go back and listen to again because they come in sneaky little ways that a lot of you may not even pay attention to, but they'll be there. Brandon says, Jess, what would you have done differently to prevent burnout? Or do you believe it's a necessary evil to grind through? I do not think it's a necessary evil at all. I came from the mindset of like, continue to build. I'm tired. I'm going to keep hustling, blah, 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 hustle culture, blah, 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 blah. So stupid. Like, I think that's one of the dumbest things right now. Everybody's like, work your ass off, 25 hours a day, keep going. Dude, you got to like be able to put oxygen mask on your face before you build. Like, you have to be able to do that. So, all the things that I talked about today, that were helpful for me for the burnout piece was like acknowledging and understanding it. Is that constant feeling like I'm not getting traction, being short with my family. Like I started to notice all those things and it came from everything that we talked about, right? My platform dependency, my panic pricing, the overworking with no direction, no back end systems. And as you start to scale, and even if you have one property, you'll start to feel what that feels like. So I'm encouraging you guys to like really be thoughtful on these things and start to think about it, from a business perspective. And even if you don't have that business perspective, like it'll come to you, but you have to start to think about it. And that's honestly what it is. And like I said, I've been there, I felt the exhaustion. And the truth is, burnout didn't just like, you know, come from the work, it came from the uncertainty as well, from not knowing where the next guest was going to come from thinking I was doing something wrong, from trying to do it all alone, which I think is so important to get a team, which I have now. And I see many of you, are doing things on your own. It's hard when you have a W-2 job. So if you're feeling that right now, I see you. Like I know exactly what you guys are going through, but you don't have to stay there. Like you don't have to stay in that same position. So again, what you build today can create peace 3 months from now. And I really want you guys to start to understand that. We went through how to start small, and that's what I was telling you guys. Like if it's week 1 of just getting something simple together, do that. And then keep showing up for yourself every single week afterwards. And remember, being booked doesn't mean you're okay, but building while booked, that's how you actually win in this game. And I think too many people don't understand that. And it's just the reality of what's actually happening in this space right now. So if this aligns with you guys, if this makes sense to you guys, I would love for you to leave a comment. Be like, yep, totally aligns with me. I totally get it. And if you guys are interested in building systems and getting things together, I actually have a coaching program where I teach people how to do this on a regular basis so you don't get burnt out and you're able to steal my 10,000 hours of all the years that I put so much time, energy into building systems and putting together the right opportunities and finding out how to connect with these companies. Like I teach people how to do that. And there's no greater success to me than like watching somebody who's like, man, I can't figure this out. So all of a sudden like doing, $1 million or getting their first place booked. And like, it's just so empowering and so fun to me for me to watch and to see and to, because sometimes those people don't believe in it or they don't think it's possible. And like, it really actually is just a click of a couple different things in a couple different directions. And you really can change your life, even with a midterm rental. In fact, I always think, 2 or 3 midterm rental properties can do what your W-2 job is and more. And like 2 properties can easily bring in 10K if you do it the right way. And again, we don't want to wait to get booked, right? We want to be very proactive, which is why this discussion is so important to me because I've literally been there and dealt with it. So I'm encouraging you guys to keep doing what you're doing. Think about this like a business. If you do want help and you do want to connect, please, please reach out to me. I'm going to leave a link in the chat box. I would love to work with you guys. But yeah, that's my burnout discussion, something I've been talking about for a while, some things that I think are important, hopefully helpful from you guys for you guys, and hopefully you're able to take away one thing that can be beneficial to you guys today. Because again, I've been through it, I've dealt with it, and it's sneaky. It comes at certain times, but there's certain things you got to pay attention to, and I broke those all down for you guys today. So thank you so much, you guys, for being here. I appreciate you guys always. It's empowering to me. Please share this with other people. It's helpful for me as well. Um, and yeah, check out the JV pod. This will be on there if you guys want to go back and check it. You can go back on the YouTube and watch this. It'll be up as a replay. But I appreciate you guys so much. And let me know your thoughts on burnout. Have you been through it? Have you not been through it? That's always something very important to me. Real quick, let's see. We got another note here from Brandon, and I'll take this before I jam out of here. Brandon says, I'm going to put this on the screen. Jess, talk about building your team. Do you have a system for hiring? You know what, Brandon? I actually am so a person of like, I'll get somebody on a call and see how they feel. I don't do that anymore. I'm starting to like get away from that. I used to just be like, I'm very relaxed in a lot of ways, but with business, I realized like you can't be relaxed. You got to be very thoughtful. You got to put SOPs together. So for me, obviously, I need to have a good fit. Like the person has to be able to vibe with me. And second off, what's most important is I need whatever they're doing to align with what I'm doing. And what I mean by that is like if I have an employee that wants to build their own midterm rental business and I'm aware of that, how can I align my goal, my vision of creating whatever it is to align with their goal? And the reason why I'm bringing that up is because I've realized this over time. More people, nobody's going to care about your business like you do. And like I need you guys to remember that as you start to build your business. I remember when I hired my first VA, I was like, they're going to care about this business like I do. They're going to care so much. And like the reality is, like most people just don't. Like they don't care about other people's business in the way that you're going to care about your business. It's your baby. You've created it. But what you can do, and this is what I've realized over the years, is that people will start to care about your business, especially if you line their long-term goals with what you're doing. And it could be somebody that's like a professional photographer and they're like really good at these things and I'm creating these things. Like I can now somehow say like I would love for you to eventually be our video person, but I need you to start off here. And once we get these systems together, we can help you. Like you could be the video guy or video gal that comes out and like videos all my stuff and you get to do all the like you start to align their vision with your vision. That's what I actually see now as being most beneficial. So um I really find that to be incredibly empowering in a lot of ways. And again, you guys, I've been a manager and a boss for like probably 12 to 13 years of my life. So I've been through this multiple different times. And as I start to understand this deeper, why people stay, why they're continuing to build, why they're going to give as much as you do, even if it's not that entire amount, they're going to meet you here. And a lot of it has to do with meeting them where they are, seeing their big vision, and being able to align it with your big vision. Because at the end of the day, people are going to put into what they get. And I think if you're able to align yourself in a position that allows them to get what they want by asking the right questions in your interviews and finding somebody that obviously vibes with you and you get along with, that potential is massive there on that end. So, Brandon, I hope that helps you a little bit more. And I'll probably do a class. I'll do another, I'm saying class, another midterm Monday where we talk about like hiring and VAs, which I think I've done before, but this is a big one. Everybody talks about this. It's very common. I'll lay that out in another call for you guys. I love this right here. Um, Always appreciate your time and information, Jesse. You're very welcome. I don't want to mess your name up. I don't even want to try to say it because I'm really bad at names. So, but I appreciate you guys so much for being here. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And again, please share this with somebody. Connect with me if you'd like to. And we want to avoid you guys having to go through burnout. So hopefully you found some value today. And let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. So appreciate you guys. Take care, everybody. Stay safe, and we'll see you next Monday.